I am very pleased to be joined by Tom Villanova from the Southland Friends of Labor. He's a board member there and someone who is going to see me at my early morning best, or some might say early morning worst, this coming Monday, February 24th, when I do a live on tape broadcast from the Southland Friends of Labor breakfast. Tom, how are you?
Very good, Joan. Thank you again for agreeing to be part of Monday's organization. It's a great breakfast, a lot of labor people, and you'll fit in perfectly there, and I appreciate you doing that.
What unions will we have represented at our breakfast?
We have 22 board members right now representing different unions, so there'll be an array of all different unions. We've got retired state rep Al Riley, too, that's part of our board. He'll be there. But we'll have probably about 20 unions represented there with representatives from the different people. We usually have about 300, 350 people at this breakfast. So it'll be a very nice thing, and it's great to have you there and great to have everybody be a part of this with your broadcast.
I know that a lot of union leaders are very worried about this current administration for fear that he will cut some of the infrastructure jobs that are in the pipeline. What do you think about that?
Well, it's already started, Joan, and I'll give you some ammunition for me right now. I do have some notes, Joan. I know you appreciated that last time when I spoke to you.
Yes, you're the man who always has the notes.
I do have notes, but on that vein, the Department of Labor already halted any project labor agreements. So this is just a wave of things to come, and they're talking about doing this with any infrastructure projects, that any project labor agreements that were agreed to are going to be just disbanded.
Wow.
Project labor agreement basically says that the work will be done 100% union, and there's never been a time like this before that all the unions better stick together, and we better just coalesce behind each other and watch out, because there's so many things going on. I mean, there's even a bill to eliminate OSHA, which is just bizarre. It's one thing after another, and there's never been a time like this before. I was just watching Secretary of Labor change her mind that she wasn't for right to work before. Now all of a sudden, by some stroke of luck, she's for right to work, which basically should be called right not to work.
Yeah, or right to work for less.
She's rescinded. When she was a congresswoman, she said that she was against it. Now all of a sudden, she's kind of floundering on the whole thing and talking about the state should have the approval of this. It shouldn't be up to the government. I mean, she's just backpedaling on everything, like everybody that deals with this guy is just, they do whatever he wants, whatever he says, otherwise they're going to be gone.
Wow. I know that they have been going after all these different government organizations. I didn't realize that OSHA was in their sights as well.
There's a bill from a representative, Andy Biggs from Arizona, that he's putting up in Congress to eliminate OSHA. It's bizarre that somebody would even think about this. This is a safety act for workers, and you're going to eliminate that. I don't know what the thinking is on this, except for the President pro temp, Elon Musk, with his chainsaw yesterday, just talking about cutting things. And it gets more bizarre every day when you read and look at the news. It gets more bizarre every single day when something comes up. You just can't believe what's being said and done. I mean, I just read a thing, too, about he's the first president to go to the Super Bowl. He was all proud of that and everything. The only reason he went was because he wanted to confront Taylor Swift. But it cost $10 million to put him in the Super Bowl, with all the everything that went on with the airfare, with the Secret Service, with everybody. $10 million. Know how many jobs in the government we could have saved with that $10 million? Just so he had to be a showboat and show Taylor Swift up. I mean, it's bizarre. It's wacky. He's brought things to a different level that we've never seen before. Thank God. But hopefully the unions can all stick together. I think everybody's kind of figuring it out now. I mentioned Elon Musk. Here's a guy with 17 contracts with 11 different government agencies. The one alone, the space contract, is a $22 billion contract. That's just one of the 17 contracts he has. You talk about a conflict of interest.
Oh, my gosh,
This has got to be a huge conflict of interest. But I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go, and I don't know what's going to solve this. But everybody better stick together and just figure out what they can do. I got an email yesterday that last night at midnight, he pulled all the COVID tests off of the website. You can't get the free COVID tests anymore.
Worse than that, the COVID tests that they have in the government storage, I heard, well, it was reported, hopefully they've decided not to, but they were going to just destroy them. They had millions of these tests that hadn't been distributed, and rather than giving them to people until they're gone, the plan was to just destroy them.
Well, and that's just the way of the thinking of this group. And I'll call it a group. I mean, it's one right after another with these new secretaries that they're appointing. One appointment's more bizarre than the last. They're talking about cutting veteran stuff now, too, which is just, I mean, how would anybody even think of doing that? The people that gave us our country, defended our country. And you're talking about cutting, things. And I go out to the Fisher House out at Hines Hospital. It's like the Ronald McDonald House of the VA. Somebody who's coming there for treatment to the hospital and can't afford a hotel room as a veteran. I go out about every 3 months with a group, and we cook for them, and we have a bingo game. But these people can't even afford a hotel room. And those people that work there, there's only 3 or 4 of them, they're worried about their jobs. And to do away with something like that is just tragic. It's wrong. It's just wrong.
It really is. We've talked before. I've talked with lots of union leaders who bemoan the fact that the rank and file don't always seem to understand what is at risk. I mean, we saw during the election season Donald Trump at that point cozying up to Elon Musk and talking about how brilliant he was because, man, at his factory, if anybody complains, well, he just fires them. And isn't that great? And yet there was still some rank and file union support for Donald Trump. Are you hearing any kind of regret from members who are willing to say, well, I voted for the guy. I didn't really think it was going to come back to bite me like this. What are the people you're talking to on a daily basis? What are they saying about all this?
I think people are getting apprehensive about it. I think it's a little too early, which it's never too early to think like that. But I think it's a little too early for them to admit that they've done wrong. I think in the long run, once these things all kick in, and they realize that that group of billionaires pride themselves on cutting jobs, not making jobs, and they realize that they're going to be in the crosshairs of all of this too. Unions are in the crosshairs of big time. I mean, we're one of the biggest groups that they're going to be against because we defend workers and protect jobs. So I think the people that did vote for him, there is a big group. It's just hard to fathom that there is. And I talk about education. I mean, it's up to us to educate our members. But there is a big group out there, and I think it's just a little too early for them to admit that they did wrong. But I think in the long run it'll come around, but it might be too late, too.
Well, let's talk about something a little bit more hopeful right now. At our breakfast this coming Monday, what do you think people are going to be talking about, aside from politics? What are some of the other union concerns people are going to be talking about on Monday?
Well, and I'll run down the list right now. You and I are going to start things out as usual, which is great, and I appreciate you being there once again. Andy Rico, who's the business manager of Local 176 IBW out in Joliet, is going to lead things off right after me. Andy's been in office for about a year and a half, but he's been a business agent before, and he wants to talk about some projects out in Joliet, how they're worried out there. Bob Howard used to be the business manager of a carpenters local. Great guy. He's the president of Chicago Western Lakes Port Council now. Steve Powell, who is a good friend of mine, is a president of Local 881 at UFCW, and he's an international vice president with UFCW and Food and Commercial Workers. And Steve's not shy about anything. Steve will jump in with things. Caitlin French, who you talked to last time, who's with the nurses at Ascension out in Joliet, they fired her. She was the union steward.
Yes.
She's going to be there, and she'll have some more updates on what's going on there. And another one, a friend of mine, Senator Bill Cunningham from the 18th District. I grew up in the 19th Ward, and Bill and I have been friends. We work together in Springfield. Bill will bring a different perspective, like the Springfield perspective to things, which is going to be refreshing. And Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant is the Will County executive. She's also, I know she wants to talk about infrastructure projects out there in her area in Will County and how they're worried because they got a couple of huge projects going out there that they're worried about what's going to, if they're going to rescind the funding, what they're going to do with it, rescind the PLAs, what they're going to do with any of that. So it'll be interesting to hear what she has to say, too. And then the UAW directors that are going to be there, too. We tried to get a cross-section of different unions and different leaders and different people. And I think we've succeeded in that. And I think you're going to find that out as you talk to them, that they all come from a different area of labor. And it'll be interesting to see the different thoughts that come out of everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I know the doors open at 7:30. I'm hoping I can get in before then. I'll just bang on the door, Tom. You come get me. All right.
I'll 6:30. I mean, I know where you're staying, so if you need me to swing by and pick you up in the morning, I'll be glad to swing by and pick you up.
Well, I'm going to have my own car, but so I will meet you there. And for those people who are listening to us now, this is open. This breakfast is open to current union members, retired union members, or if you are a listener of WCPT and you find yourself in Joliet and you'd like to come over, you're welcome to. Tom, what's the best way for people to register for this event?
Just when you come in. There'll be a table to register when you come in. Just feel free to come in, get registered. We're going to have a lot of elected officials there, too. They always show up. There's a municipal election on April 1st, so I'm sure we're going to have a lot of local people that are running show up, and it'll be good for them to talk to other people, too. So, like you said, everybody's welcome. Please come. Please be a part of it, and it should be a great success.
It will be a great success. I will see you, Tom, on Monday morning, and hopefully we'll get some CPT listeners to come out for the Friends of Labor Southland, Friends of Labor Breakfast. On the frontage road in Joliet, it's the IBEW Local 176 building. Tom, thank you for being here, and I will see you Monday.
Looking forward to it, Joan. Thank you very much for doing this.
Take
care.
care.
Have a good weekend.